Hello and welcome to Sorare Assist, assisting you in your Sorare journey. So this is going to be the final episode of the limited series for this year, but I will be doing updates every month starting from the end of January. Today though, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the future of the limited cards, also having a recap of all the rewards I've won since I started this series 15 weeks ago, and also going through the usual, my purchases, sales and my results from last week's game week. Before all that, welcome all Sorare managers. As usual, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell to be alerted about any new videos. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and Reddit for more free Sorare content. Please check out SorareAssist.com. If you're not signed up to see Sorare yet, then sign up using the link below to get a free limited card. Also don't forget that I've currently got a competition running on Twitter where you can win Sorare cards. 10 limited cards and 2 rare cards. Winner to be announced on Christmas Eve, which is also the closing date for entry in this competition. Please follow my Twitter account at Sorare Assist to see all the information on how to enter. Right, let's get stuck into this week's content then. As usual, I'll start from my results from the last 2 game weeks. So game week 225, I didn't have any full lineups to put out, so there's no point in going for the results in that game week. And the lineups that I was able to construct in game week 226 were the following. So Challenger Europe, I had Lung in goal, conceded 4 unfortunately, so a very poor score for him. Van Elk did well in his first game for me, very good score for a 20-year-old. Mercier didn't play, he was actually suspended, which I didn't realise. Colhert played but didn't have the best game, and they also lost 3-1. And Fleming had a decent score considering he didn't score. 61 points with the captain bonus, but no reward there, as you can see, very low scoring week, and did not play. All-star team, Herrera didn't manage to keep a clean sheet against Barcelona, as you would expect. Senesi got a fantastic 85, he actually scored in that game. Arnold had a bit of a disappointing match, only 27 points. Lindell had 56 points for his last game for me before the winter break in Austria. And Begues, who was the captain, had a quieter week for him and only scored 66 points with the captain bonus. So no rewards there, unfortunately, in the last 2 game weeks. So let's have a look at my purchases then since last week. So here are all the purchases since last week's video then. So I've strengthened up my under 23 teams, and I've also purchased some more youth players as well for my youth squads. So I've signed Seko and Nishio from the under 23 team. Obviously both play for the same team, Sorare Saka. Both young players as well, so they can fit into one of my under 23 teams. I've also signed Mario Jr. as a midfielder for PSV. He looks decent, it was very cheap and is also obviously eligible for the under 23 side. I've also signed Owen Wingel for AZ, fantastic player, fantastic stats. Still young as well, so again is another one that I can use in my under 23 side. And I've also signed Maduka Okoye, so that I've got a goalkeeper during the winter break in the other leagues, because obviously my only other under 21 goalkeeper is Tani, who plays in the Japanese league, and they're not obviously back until around March time. So I've signed Okoye to fit in that slot so that I can put out a side in the under 23 division. The rest of the players on here are all youngsters to go into my youth squads, all players that look like they've got the right stats and potential to succeed on the SO5 scoring matrix. Total spend £405, but the big purchases was Okoye, who cost £228, and also Wingel was around £69 I believe. These two were only £12 each, which is very very cheap for 2 quality defenders. In terms of players sold, I sold Erwin Mulder because although it's probably not going to happen, I'm a bit worried that he might not get his place back in the Heerenveen team. I know he is the captain for Heerenveen, so he probably will get the position back there, but I was just a bit worried that because of the current goalkeeper's form, may not get in the side or something like that. And I didn't want to risk it, so I decided just to get rid of him anyway. So I am hoping that Romo does come back into the team for Laverne, and obviously I've got the challenger goalkeeper there in the form of Romo if he can get his place back. Jalen Lindsay I did sell for a profit, one that I only acquired a couple of weeks back. The reason I sold him because he's decided to go back to Charlotte FC. That's actually the place where he was born, and he wanted to go back to his hometown because he was homesick and he was missing his family. So he has moved to Charlotte FC. And what I didn't realise when I sold him is that Charlotte FC are actually coming into the MLS. But I don't think his scores are going to be as good at Charlotte FC as there was at his current MLS club. So I think it's probably the right decision to sell him at the end of the day. And as I say, it was for a profit. The total sales from this week is £74. So just quickly run through the teams then. So the Global All-Star is looking like this, as it has for the last few weeks. Guzan in goal, Fukumori in defence, Hallhauser, Gill and Cecina. Champion Asia, Guy in goal, Fukumori in defence, Murillo and Jinho in midfield, and Dimao up front as well. Plenty of people on the bench as well, some that I'll probably look to get rid of near the start of the Champion Asia Leagues resuming. Challenge Europe, Lung in goal, Senesi in defence, Mercy and Hallhauser in midfield, and Bergwus up front as well. So this team is also looking very solid. Champion Europe, Herrera in goal, Guerrero, Arnold, Alberto and Kramaric make up the rest of the team, and some fairly decent substitutes as well. The under 23 side, this is looking good now. I've added the new signing Okoye in there and also Wingel. So I'm covered for a team here between December and March, when obviously the Asian and America Leagues have concluded. And then I've also got more options when the Asian and America Leagues are back in play as well. So I've got plenty of options in my under 23 sides as well, as you can see from all these substitutes as well that I've got. So very good under 23 side here. Did cost a lot, but I'm hoping to win some rewards with these players and start denting into the cost of this team. Limited international team. So these are basically just players that also play for the country. This is just so that I can see what availability I've got in terms of the international windows. So I've also started building some youth teams now, as you're aware. These players are hopefully going to be the backbone of my future teams, and I can either sell them on if they do start getting first team minutes, or I can actually put them into my team if they do achieve the potential in their SO5 scoring. So very excited with this team. That's the American youth team. This is the Asia youth team so far, and here is my Challenger youth team. Plenty of talent there. This guy actually, Spetsian, recently played 90 minutes and he got an absolutely fantastic score. So there's one that's already coming to fruition and showing the potential that I knew he had. So let's have a look at the gallery value then. So these are all my cards. I've done it into 2 slides now because I've got quite a lot of limited cards. So these are all my cards, limited cards, and these are the rest of the cards. So the total 1 month average selling price of all these players is 4,723. So in terms of the profit and loss figures, this is what it's looking like now. Across the left here, I've got all the cost of each teams, then the total spend for all these teams here. This is the amount from the sales of my cards, 293 so far. So if we add and subtract all these figures together, it gives me a total profit of loss of £489. So last week's video profit and loss was 479. So it has gone up slightly, which I'm pleased about, because as you guys would have seen from the previous episodes, this profit and loss figure was coming down slowly. That was mainly due to the Japan and America leagues concluding and the value in those players coming down. But now I am starting to see that the American players are starting to go up in value a little bit more. This is potentially because some of the players have left now with the drafts and that sort of thing. So we're starting to get an idea of what the squads may look like for the MLS season that starts around March time. So very pleased with this. Now, as you guys know, this weekly episode is going for around 15 weeks now. So I'm just going to share every single reward that I've won since I started this series 15 weeks ago. First though, let's just quickly look at all the teams. As you can see, I've got all these teams now ready to go for all the upcoming fixtures. Probably don't need to buy any more first team players now for all these teams. I will still be building up the youth teams because obviously they're going to be the potential future cards that can step into some of these cards' places when they retire or leave to different clubs, which is going to be a while because a lot of them are at the right age and got plenty of time to get me plenty of rewards. So as you can see, I've got some fantastic squads here, and I've also got some youth teams as well for future squads or future sales, and then obviously profit, which I could use to potentially buy some more players. So in terms of rewards, since I started this series 15 weeks ago, I've won a total of 20 rewards. These are all the rewards that I've won here that you can see on screen. As you can see, there's some fantastic rewards there. Some of the highlights were probably Taniguchi. Colhert, I'm a big admirer of him. His stats do look good. Monterio is a good reward. Grill was a decent reward as well. Senesi was a fantastic reward. Murillo looks a great player. Nani, I'm hoping he can find another club. He should do. He has got the qualities. Johnny Russell was an absolutely fantastic reward. He's probably one of the best forwards in the MLS. So I was very, very pleased with him. So yeah, plenty of decent rewards there over the last 15 weeks. And I'm very happy with this output. What we have to remember as well is that it's only a few weeks ago that I've actually managed to assemble every single squad in every single division that I wanted. So I would expect these rewards to ramp up once the Asian and American leagues are back in play. Now, in terms of the future of the limited cards, I think Sorare probably needs to give these limited cards a bit more utility, and I would expect that they will do that once they have figured out the changes that look like they're going to make in the coming months. This, of course, is replacing the threshold in the Rare Division 4, the ETH threshold. Now, previously they have said that they're going to cap this to a certain amount. So say for 200 points you'd get $20, and for 250 points you would get $40. This is just an estimate. I don't know actually what they're going to decide on, but they have mentioned this previously, and this was mentioned before the limited cards were released, I believe, and it's taken quite a long time for them to decide on what to do with the threshold amounts. They've also been talking about the progression bar as well, which I think was predominantly going to be for the Rare League, Rare Division 4. And what this progression bar was going to do is you can build up your points each game week to reach different milestones and different rewards. You can choose to accept those rewards or carry on to the next reward and keep building up those points to get a higher prize. Now, we don't know if Sorare are still going to decide on something like that. I would have thought they will do, to obviously make it more easier for new managers to progress in the game, because not a lot of managers can actually afford to come in, spend the sort of money that I have on the limited cards, or afford to buy the rare cards. So what I'm hoping for in terms of the limited cards and the progression for managers is that I'm hoping that Sorare give more utility to the limited cards. Now, something that they could do potentially in terms of the limited cards, I know a few people have talked about this previously as well, is to make a pro team, so a limited pro division. So this division, just like the Rare Pro division, would be where you could enter 3 limited cards in a limited pro division and then 2 rare cards. This is obviously going to enable managers to progress, make it easier for them to progress in the league, so they could just start with buying the 2 rares and then obviously buying some 3 limiteds to put a side together in a higher division. I think this would be a good move for the limited cards and give them a bit more utility. We could also see potentially the limited cards being used in the All-Star division. So at the moment you can obviously use 1 common card in this division, but they might replace that with a limited card. So you could potentially use a limited goalkeeper in the Rare Global All-Star. Again, this is all speculation. Might not happen, but these are some of the things that I would like to see, and I think that would be good for the long-term potential of the platform. Another thing they could do as well in the limited divisions is give a threshold in this division as well. Obviously the threshold will have to be lower than the Rare Global All-Star threshold, but even if it was $10 say for the lower score and $20 for the higher, that's still going to give new managers the potential to build up their ETH balance and then make some progress in terms of going up the divisions and building up their squads. So these are just some of the ideas that I think they could definitely do with the limited cards, and I'm hoping that Sorare do make the right decisions in terms of the limited cards and their utility going forward. Like I said, they are taking a lot of time to give us an update on the progression bar and what's happening with the ETH thresholds going forward. But I think this is because they probably have got some big changes in mind, and they probably want to make sure that they get that right. But yeah, there's just my thoughts. I don't know anything obviously that's actually happening at Sorare HQ, but I think these are some of the ideas that they may be discussing and maybe looking into. And I do think that they do need to get it right with these limited cards, because most of the new customers that are going to be coming in are going to be starting in the limited division. So that's all for this week's video. So if you did like this video, then smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you've got any comments in terms of the future of the limited cards, do drop them down in the comments section below. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook and Reddit, and for more free Sorare content please check out SorareAssist.com. Links are in the description below. And if you're not signed up to Sorare yet, use the link in the description to get a free limited card when you buy your first 5 cards. Okay, thanks for watching. Like I said, this limited series will be continuing in the new year, but I'll just be doing one at the end of every month just to give you guys an update on my rewards and my profit and loss figures as well on my limited collection. Okay, thanks for watching again, and I'll see you again soon.